Richard, you wanted to talk piping, but not water piping, actually gas piping.
Right. Gas should always be done by a licensed professional, but I thought we'd take a few minutes today to talk about what goes into proper sizing, safety, what the pros have to know.
Okay.
All right, so it starts with sizing. Now, gas comes in from the street if it's natural gas at a particular amount of pressure. Now, by gas code, you have to figure out what size pipe, and they come in a variety right here. So typically in a residential application, you might have 1.25 inch or 1 inch pipe coming in. And now, you look at the building and say, all right, what's the size of the furnace and the water heater and the dryer, right? And now you have to have enough pipe size to support the load, the size of those appliances. So they make all kinds of fittings. So you'd put a T fitting in that would reduce and go to this first device. Now, this pipe size can get smaller.
Okay.
And so now you would reduce that to another down size smaller, or you'd use a T fitting like this, there's all different variations of size. So you end up building this tree.
So the furnace is going to use way more gas than, say, the stove will.
That's right. But it's in this initial phase where the layout is so critically important because you need to have the right pipe size to all of them, or they just won't function. You'll have incomplete combustion, you'll have bad performance.
So the size is one calculation, but then you have to get the gas to all the appliances, and they can be spread all throughout the home.
Right. So what we're showing here is the use of steel pipe, and this is a threaded steel pipe. In the old days, we used to have this machine. I grew up on this machine, cutting the pipe and putting a threader onto it, and it removes pieces of steel to leave these clean, beautiful threads right here. Well, nowadays, they have them all available in pre-cut lengths. So you'd go to the supply company and see there'd be an 8-footer, a 6-footer, 5, 4, 3, down to about 18 inches would be the smallest in pipe that's in its length.
That's this one here.
Right. Now, once you get below 12, they come in a thing called nipples, okay? This is 6 inch down to 1.5 inches, and the other would be 12 down to 6. And so now, let's say you're trying to run from this branch to, let's say the elbow needs to go upstairs to the stove right here. All right, so I'll start with a shutoff valve right here on the branch.
Good for each appliance.
Absolutely.
Shut off.
Okay. So now, there's some dimension here, and that's 21. So that's not any of these standard sizes. So you got an 18 there?
I do. Back in the day, you could have just cut yourself a 21-incher, but
Absolutely.
now you're going to build
Absolutely.
them up.
So now you come here, and you allow for that thread to go in. And there's this thing called a coupling right here. So now you have to measure and allow for the thread to go into all of these fittings. So looks like that would be 2.5. Let's call it 2.5.
Is that it?
Perfect. Okay. So then you'd allow for that thread to be made into the fitting right here. To make sure there's no leaks, you'd use a pipe dope like this thread sealant on every single fitting, and you make them up with 2 wrenches. Now remember, you have to start at the source and thread outward this way, because it's always those righty-tighty connections, right? So you work your way this way, work your way this way till you get to the appliance.
It's still a lot of connections, though, all throughout the house, and it's gas.
Right, so you need it to be safe. So what you would do is you want to test it before you bring gas on. So there's a shutoff valve, you close it off, and then they make a manometer, a tester like this. And so now you would pump up all the new work,
So pressurize the system.
and lock it on and watch it overnight or some long period of time, and if there's no leak, that will stay locked on.
Right.
And as a double check, you would actually use a soap solution to go around every single connection, and if there was any leak, you'd see the air bubble.
Belts and suspenders
Absolutely.
when it comes to leaks.
Can't be too safe.
All right, good information. Thank you, Richard. Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.